Hi, welcome back. And again, for you who are joining us today is Friday, the 12th of November, and you have joined us for a wonderful, wonderful session. My name is Michelle Samuel. I am your host for today's event. And what it is that we're doing, we are celebrating an Entrepreneurship World Cup St. Lucia champions. And you're currently watching the EWC St. Lucia Champion Symposium, a GEW event hosted by Terra. Now, I have another guest today. Now, of course, you would have known that we have several champions that we have from 2019 all the way to 2021. Most recently, the event held in July. Now, that was only the first part of our symposium. But we had a special guest that we kept mentioning and talking about throughout the day. And I think this is the best time to bring her on. Now, this particular special guest is the reason why we're all here. She's the reason why this event, this program is in St. Lucia. And she's the reason why we have entrepreneurs, innovators, even social entrepreneurs of all stages and ages able to showcase what they're doing to make an impact in the economy and by extension, the globe, providing them with a global platform that they can make a difference. And not only to do that, but to network, connect with others, and also get potential support and, of course, investors. Now, this competition is known as the world's biggest pitch competition in the world to date. No other competition comes close. Why? Because of the value behind the prizes and for the fact that every single entrepreneur who applies is automatically rewarded in some way, shape, or form. There is something in it for everyone. But you've heard a lot about it from others, from my team. You've heard about it from the entrepreneurs themselves. Let us hear from the lady herself who brought this competition by way of the Global Entrepreneurship Network. And I'm speaking of none other than Miss Anna Maria Torres. Hi, Anna.
Hello, Michelle. What a pleasure to be here and joining you all to this wonderful event. Thanks for inviting me. It's a real pleasure.
It's really great to have you with us this morning, Anna Maria. And thank you again so much for accepting the invitation to join us. Now, of course, you heard us talking about our champions before. I mean, we've had a few champions and all of them have been young champions, our youngest being 16 years of age. And this is a phenomenal feat for us as islanders. So I just wanted to bring you on just to get some, feedback from you as to what was your impression of the champions that we have produced from St. Lucia thus far, and also what we can hope to expect from EWC in the coming years, because every year it's something new and bigger to look forward to. So first, before we go into EWC, we want persons to get to know who you are, because that is the first thing. We must make a connection with you. So can you tell our viewers who you are as an individual and how you came into being the director of EWC?
Oh, fantastic, Michelle. Thank you. I'll be delighted to share a little bit of my story. So I'm Latina, born in Colombia, raised in Colombia, but I moved abroad to multiple countries. For the past 15 years, my experience has been in more than 40 countries. So very global, and I consider myself a global citizen, where I learned how to become an entrepreneur myself, but also how to work with all the ecosystem partners. So meaning I have worked with the governments, I've worked with international organizations, working directly with entrepreneurs, with ecosystem enablers, with investors. And then after working in more than 34 countries of the Americas, the Western Hemisphere, I did have the pleasure to work with the Caribbean as well. I had the honor to visit many of the wonderful islands where you are. So I had the opportunity to connect with the communities, to understand where they're coming from, to understand the needs and how those entrepreneurs emerge. Lately, I moved to the US. Part of my 15 years of experience, I was working for international organizations, Organization of American States, Inter-American Development Bank, before moving to London, where I'm currently live with my family. So it's been an experience where I think just working with all the ecosystem enablers, as I said, I've been part of the investment community. I've been part of the governments. I've worked with the private sector to make sure private and public sector are always there. And working with the ecosystem, I think I developed something that is being able to see through the lens of many institutions and how we can work together to mobilize the ecosystem to make it work and available for entrepreneurs. And in 2019, when this opportunity came up to launch the EWC, I was absolutely thrilled to join and to lead this opportunity. And we started as a startup, I would say, as many of you are. We started, it was an idea led by the Global Entrepreneurship Network, along with the Miss Global Foundation. And they start developing this program. So EWC, just want to tell you more about it, is just not the competition, but it is a program that really focuses on entrepreneurs to help you grow, to provide you the entrepreneurship ecosystem where you can grow and scale up. Now, back to your question regarding the startups. So what we've seen and what we've been thrilled is to work on a level that are able to lead EWC in their countries and identify this incredible talent that is there, that is at the national level, and showcase that to the world. So this initiative wouldn't be possible without the leadership, commitment, dedication of our national partners, as is Michelle in St. Lucia, and as we have many more other partners all around the world. Now, what we've seen and will be the testimony of the great talent that comes out of the Caribbean, and the great thing that we can see when we showcase what they are doing, not just at the regional level, but also at the global level. So as you mentioned, Michelle, we have had the youngest. She is actually the youngest entrepreneur selected in the top 100 from all around the world. So we can identify talent as young as 16 years old. And there is no limit, right? There's no limit, or there's no minimum to become an entrepreneur. We've seen that they can come from all ages, all sectors, all sizes, and we really want to be as supported as possible at Gen to make sure that they can launch their business and they can grow their startups.
So very much, Anna Maria, for sharing that with us. And for those of you who are just tuning in, just remember you are watching the EWC St. Lucia Champion Symposium. And with me, my special guest, Miss Anna Maria Torres, who just happens to be the EWC Director at Gen. So Anna Maria, let's go into EWC, right? Now, when we first heard in St. Lucia about EWC, it was the year 2019. And we met in Bahrain, and that is where we connected. I attended the annual general meeting, and there was just a lot of excitement going on about this program and what it could hold for entrepreneurs, even in its first year, right? But then moving on from there, 2019 has passed, 2020 has passed, and we're now in 2021. Can you give us an idea as to what is the caliber and cadre of applications that you are seeing coming out of our region, and do you see any progress or growth within those applications?
Excellent question. So, Michelle, as you just correctly mentioned, we started in 2019, and the first leader that we had in the Caribbean was Michelle. She was one of the first ones to sign up St. Lucia for the Entrepreneurship World Cup. We were thrilled to welcome St. Lucia. So we had one of the few countries that participated from the Caribbean early ages was St. Lucia. So since the beginning, we had a track record of leading this campaign at the national level in St. Lucia. What I wanted to tell you is how this had an impact. So I want to share with you all, whether you're connecting from St. Lucia, whether you're connecting from another country, whether you're in the region in the Caribbean, because of the potential and because of the great talent that it was identified in the first edition. We had the opportunity to welcome these startups among the top EWC 100 from all around the world. So it is a massive achievement, and that was caught the attention from other leaders in the region who joined later and who start becoming part of EWC. That means that other countries from the Caribbean also were part of EWC. And I'm proud to say that this year we launched what we had, that it was the Dream Initiative, that it was the EWC Caribbean. We wanted to have participation from everywhere, every single region in the Caribbean, and we accomplished it this year. But I want to highlight is that this wouldn't have been possible without the leadership commitment and showcase of the talent that we were getting from the Caribbean. If we didn't have the participation of Michelle and her team that made the community aware of this opportunity. So what is EWC? Why is it important? Why Michelle was so keen on bringing it to you and to the St. Lucian people? So there are a couple of things that I think are really relevant and special about EWC. The first one is that it's not just a competition. We are a program that, yes, it focuses to identify talent through our national partners, through a competition, but it also, and fundamentally, we focus on an acceleration program. So it's a one-year program where startups can join since the beginning of the year and join Accelerate One. Well, they have access to resources on a plug-and-play mode. So anywhere where you are at any time, you can have access to the resources according to your stage. So we have idea stage, early stage, and growth stage. And the resources are tailored to you depending on where you are, because of course you have different needs. So that's Accelerate One. Then once we go through the competitions at the global level, some of you get selected in these national competitions, but the idea for us is to connect with the local ecosystem. And that's something really important of EWC. So we do not compete in other institutions. We welcome them. We want to be partners with the ecosystem at the national level, at the regional level, and at the global level. And I think that is the key component of EWC. This is a global entrepreneurship ecosystem that is ready for you, that is ready to support you independently where you are, independently in the stage where you are. And how we do that? Well, we work with investors, so we make sure that you can have access to capital, that you can have access to resources if you need it. We work with a community of investors that are really keen on meeting you. We also work with governments, and Jen has a community of governments that are also always part of the startup nations that are part of our community. We also work with, as I mentioned, with accelerator institutions, national partners who are always keen to support our entrepreneurs at the national level. And we make sure that you can showcase your solution. So you can showcase it not just at the national level, not just at the regional level, but at the global level, because your solutions can go as far as you can dream of. And that is true. And that's something that I would love to see some of the startups from the Caribbean sharing their experience with you. And last but not least, we do have at the global level very, very exciting prizes. So it's more than 1 million in cash prizes. Yes, you hear it well. It's more than 1 million in cash prizes, as well as in-kind prizes for over $75 million in in-kind prizes.
Now, I know that a lot of our audience and viewers cannot wrap their heads around those figures that you just called out, Anna Maria, because us in St. Lucia, these figures just seem as so huge and unobtainable. But what we're saying is that yes, it is possible through EWC. Now, I know that some persons had asked questions during our summit, and of course, I want to highlight just two of those concerns just so that we can iron those out so that persons moving into next year's competition will know what it is that they have access to. So one of the things that was brought up to us is one, social enterprises. They see a lot of things happening with for-profit and companies and all of that, but not much, talk is given about community groups and social enterprises or non-profited NGOs. Is there a space for that in EWC?
Excellent question, Michelle. And the short answer is of course. And the long answer is we love social enterprises, whether you're working for a nonprofit, where you're working on a hybrid model, where you're working on a social business or social driven mission based on just a business. It really depends on where you are and really depends on what you do. So we are open to that, the model. But what is important is that we have a special prize for social enterprises. So we have a $100,000 prize for a social enterprise. So it doesn't matter who you are. What we do care is about what you're doing. Who are your beneficiaries? What are you trying to achieve? Is it climate? Is it education? Is it health? Whatever the topic is, I think it's really important to support social entrepreneurs, especially in regions where those are the most solutions most needed, I will say. And globally, social entrepreneurs, that's what we need. And we've seen, and I have the pleasure to see, even within the EWC, the first year we were, as I mentioned, 2018, we have a low percentage of social enterprises. Then 2020 hit, it was COVID, and we saw a dramatic increase of social enterprises. Suddenly, everyone was proposing solutions for health. Of course, it was COVID, so we saw a dramatic increase in social enterprises, and therefore we also adjust our model. We found the possibility to sponsor prizes for it, and we're working on it. Last but not least, it is very easy to understand the prices as a cash price, and everyone welcomes cash, right? Like everyone wants to get some funding for their startup. But EWC goes beyond that, beyond the first step. And we make sure that we put you in the community that is going to help you mobilize. It's going to help you move forward with whatever the needs are. So that is something that it's critical to know, but also that we're making sure that we showcase what you do. But because if nobody knows what you do, it'll be really hard to make you grow, right, and expand. So we're really excited to make sure that the opportunity is there for social innovators, for social businesses, to make sure that they can grow regardless the business model that they present.
Thank you very much for addressing that question, Anna Maria. And the other question that we did get a lot of was the creative industry. We have a very massive creative industry here in St. Lucia and throughout the Caribbean per extension. And the creativity industry or the creative industries is an industry that encompasses musicians, artists, poets, and writers, authors, and so on, events persons, photographers, videographers. These are our creatives. So my question to you is, which is a question that we were faced with during this year's competition, is there a space for creatives? And how can the competition or the program be applied to them? And how do they fit into the competition itself?
Yeah, very important question. So we get this question asked every year, and the reality is that of course we welcome creative talent. We wouldn't be anywhere if we don't have creative talent. And I think what we have now called the orange economy is critical. It's super important, and we see amazing talent coming up from the region. We see incredible talent that comes out from the region. So there is a space for it. We see that it's a diversity of talent across the country. So at the global level, what we say is that every country can focus on a specific strategy. So locally, national organizers or national leaders can identify if they have specific niches or specific sectors that align better with the country strategy, and we open it up at the global level. We do definitely want to hear from creatives. It's just that at the global level, we'll welcome all sectors. We want to be as inclusive as possible, and we leave that flexibility to the national leaders to decide where is a special focus that they want to take, or they want to leave it as open and flexible as we have it at the global level. That is the opportunity that is there. Of course, it's not the same talent that you produce from certain regions. So we see that, of course, there's some hubs of entrepreneurship that focus in a specific talent because of the region. I'm based in London, for example. And as you know, many of you know, this is a great hub for fintech. It's a great hub for creativity and for creators as well. So I will see that depending on the region, we're going to be seeing different solutions. Do we discriminate against a specific sector or vertical? No. We want to make sure that we recognize them and we identify them, and they can be welcome at the global stage. Thank you, Michelle.